Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and today I'm bringing to you the Battle of the Sluggers. Much like in my Battle of the Sprayers video, which I'll link to in the description if you haven't seen it, I'm going to take BF1 weapons that are essentially in direct competition and compare their strengths and weaknesses to help you to decide which is the better choice for your playstyle. And quite obviously today is about the Slug shotguns, namely the Model 10A Slug and the Model 1900 Slug. So let's kick this off with the similarities of the two weapons. Obviously, they both fire a single slug round rather than the buckshot that a standard shotgun uses. This means you either do all of your potential damage or none of it. The maximum damage these two weapons can deal is 112 and the minimum is 45. They then both have the same damage capabilities in terms of bullets to kill a full health enemy. It's a 1-shot kill out to 11 meters, a 2-shot kill out to 55 meters, and a 3-shot kill from there onwards, even though the Model 1900 maintains slightly higher damage from around the 55 meter mark. This means they can both pick up some ridiculous range kills for a shotgun from time to time, but it also means they aren't particularly forgiving. They can be tough to use as they require precise aim. A standard shotgun will likely be a far more potent choice for the vast majority of players, and the difficulty of using the slug variants is only intensified if there's lag, as there's little time to react if your shots just don't register. It can also be a little confusing at times when you hit an enemy from a range that you're pretty sure you could one-shot kill someone from with a different shotgun that requires less precise aim, and yet you don't kill them in one shot with a slug variant. It takes a little time to get used to it, as it just isn't quite what you'd expect. But for those with solid aim and reaction time, the slug variants offer a whole new avenue of lethality for a shotgun user. So now, how are they different? Well, it essentially comes down to two main factors and then some slight differences. Firstly, the rate of fire of the two weapons are entirely different, with the Model 10A firing at 78 rounds per minute and the Model 1900 firing at 299 rounds per minute. But this is then obviously balanced out by the Model 10 having 6 slugs per reload and the Model 1900 only having 2 due to it being a double barrel shotgun. So essentially, it becomes a choice of having what I'm going to call more burst lethality with the Model 1900 due to your ability to get a follow-up shot off in a very short space of time, or more consistent lethality with the Model 10A, as you'll be able to utilize 6 rounds per full reload at the cost of slower follow-up shots. You can then add in that the Model 10 has worse vertical recoil and recoil decrease, which makes the Model 10 feel a lot more kick heavy and cumbersome, but it does have slightly better horizontal recoil than the Model 1900, although I personally didn't really notice any difference in that department. And the wait for your follow-up shot with the Model 10 means it essentially doesn't matter how strong the recoil is anyway. But then of course, after all the usual stats, be they similarities or differences, the Model 1900 has a special ability. It can be set to fire both slugs at the same time. This means you'll have to reload after every shot, but you can deal all of your damage at once if you land both slugs. This was a little confusing for me in practice, as sometimes both would land and other times one would land, even if I felt like I'd essentially fired in exactly the same manner for both instances. But if both slugs did hit the target, the impact was huge, and this is a very valuable ability to have, not only for crazy range kills, but also for taking on cavalry and elites. And now with that said, which slug shotgun is best for you? Well, besides the fact that the vast majority of shotgun users will probably just stick with something like the Model 10A Hunter, if you do want to try a slug variant out, then most will go for the Model 10A Slug. It gives you 6 rounds to play with, and I think this is important as most players don't like to reload as often as the Model 1900 requires. However, if you can cope with the frequent reloads and have the necessary positional sense to do so without being caught consistently reloading in the open, then the quick follow-up damage of the 1900 Slug will be a good shout for you. Also, if you find yourself getting one shot off with the Model 10 and then dying, then again, the Model 1900 might be more your style. But on the flip side, the Model 10 will allow you to take on multiple enemies one after another, whereas the Model 1900 won't. Personally, I prefer the Model 1900. The slow rate of fire of the Model 10A was an issue for me, especially at anything outside of super close range or if there was lag. I also find the sights on the Model 10A Slug to be a bit more of a hindrance than a help sometimes, and finally, the 2-slug blast capability of the Model 1900 can be very useful and a whole lot of fun. But this is all just my opinion. What do you think? Do you like slug shotguns? Are you going to go and try one out now after watching this? And which ones do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, we need to quickly shoot over to the Board of Awesome to show our respect to the fantastic people who choose to support the channel on Patreon. Their doing so is allowing me to get content out to you full time, so thank you to everyone on the board. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, then the link to the Patreon page will be in the description description below and in my pinned comment where you can support the channel from as little as $1 a month if you so wish. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.